All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful, I don't even know what that live on this beautiful Tuesday. Blessings to everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, Messiah. Even if you are not religious, I still pray you and your family are super blessed. As the title of the video, is this a video? As the title of the live stream says, guys, get ready for the massive move. And it looks like, you know, there's a little issue with the camera here that I can't fix now during the stream. So we're just going to have to roll with it, man. We're just going to have to roll with it, okay? God bless everybody. Got to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. First of all, major shout out to Georgia of all. My favorite shoes of all time, Reebok pumps, baby. That's what we're looking for. Shout out to Crypto Hub. Shout out to John M. Shout out to HFG. Shout out to Billy Street. I see 142 likes. Shout out to JBeeksy. Any update on the trading course? Well, look, it's all done. It's ready to go. We're just waiting on a few things behind the scenes, and it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would have. Trust me, I'm more disappointed about it than you guys are. Trust me. Trust me, but it's coming, man. It's done. It's ready to go. I've got it all. I've got it all. Shout out to Evan. He says, worst week of flopping and groping with no Casper streams. Yeah. Shout out to Durin. He said, all religions are human-made. I agree with that. Shout out to Frosty. SA. He says, happy. Hey, man. From sunny South Africa. Shout out to Crypto Hub. I'm in a 5x long on Sol. Man, Sol is the life of the party right now. Sol is pumping like a wild lady right now. In distress, running through the wilderness with a laundry basket on her head, looking just like Janet Yellen. And of course, man, I've been gone for a week, guys. And there's not much to write home about. You know, I didn't even waste my time buying the dang stationery and writing a letter to my mom. I just sent her a text. I said, hey, Ma, you know, Bitcoin is just trading in this tiny little parallel channel here. I mean, honestly, it looks like we could just form this like bear flag and get another massive dump to the downside. Or maybe, who knows, maybe we're gonna catch everybody off guard and just, sorry, I went straight Bill Gates on you guys. We're sounding just like Bill Gates now. You know, if we just inject them with more vaccines, maybe we break through the upside, you know. Look, we got the golden pocket up here at around $97,000. We're coming to a major area of resistance right around that $90,000 retest. And today we're going to be diving into the juicy price action. Of course, we're still holding the long trade from the setup given in advance in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. JasonGasperTrading.com. Click the link to join the best trading community in the world. Of course, I'm a little bit biased. Alright, but I do think it's best. Also, guys, right now, in the description, MEXC, best deal on fees if you can KYC. 0% limit order, 0.02% market order fees. Excellent, excellent, excellent deal. Also, guys, WEEX. WEEX is the best deal on fees if you cannot KYC. All right, you can't KYC. WEEX is the exchange for you because they have just as low fees as MEXC, except they do not require KYC. All right, I'm also trading on BLOFIN as well. BLOFIN is offering a whole bunch of cash back, bonus rewards, and all that kind of stuff. So what's the deal with Bitcoin right now? All right, we got a lot to talk about today. And, you know, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys. I'm going to give it to you straight. As always here in the Casper Crew, the Casper Crew YouTube channel. Going to give it to you straight. All right. Got to give a shout out to my man, Games Making Boost. Gas Making Boost. What about the 84K CME gap? Hey, man, we're going to get into it, bro. All right, we're going to get into all this stuff here. Shout out to HFG. Is Bobby messing with you? Really? All right. Shout out to Billy Street. My abs are on fire, y'all. That's what's up. I did a little bit of abs this morning as well. All right. Shout out to Andrew. Shout out to Ali Gadish, who says behavior. Behavior. Shout out to Benny. Shout out to Blake. Shout out to Alex. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the welcomes back. Shout out to YB Ben Ram. Good to see you. God bless you, YB. God bless you, Kryptoni, who says hit that like button. Shout out to Crypto Hub, bro. I got 4 more chicks to add to my 7 bigger hens. That's what's up, bro. Shout out to Barris247. No left, no right. Just straight, no gay. Yeah, sure. All right. So, let's pop right in here. Pop right in, guys. As usual, if we get 2,000 likes in the first half hour, we'll be giving away $1,000. Now, here's the thing. I know what you guys are thinking. Jason, there's no way. Look, there could be a way, okay? There could be a way. Here's the thing. This is my first stream back in a while, which means I'm going to have low viewership, which means it's up to you guys to share the stream, to tell your mom, tell your aunt's mom, which is your grandmother, okay, to come into here and like the dang stream. Hey, look, I fixed it. I fixed the camera. All I had to do was wipe the smudges off, man. It was just a little bit of finger grease on the dang camera, and now we're clear as crystal. Okay? Clear as crystal. All right, so yeah, go tell your grandma, go tell your aunt, go tell your uncle, come on in, like the dang stream. We can do it. I think we can do it. Okay. So as we know, Bitcoin topped out. And as we topped out, we made a higher high. Momentum, money flow in the daily, making a lower high, giving us the dreaded upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man breast pattern. Okay, we all know Sam Bankman-Fried and his fitness journey started overweight. Then he decided, you know what, I'm going to get in shape, but instead of doing a well-rounded workout plan, he decided, I'm only going to do decline dumbbell bench press on the left side. Led to a very uneven chest here, called it's called gynecomasticus crooked in the Latin, actually. Gynecomasticus crooked, where the left is taller than the right, also known colloquially as a bearish divergence. And that top was a little scary, and if you've been following this channel, you know that we've been talking about a back test of the 70s for a long time. All right, people said it could never happen, but it did happen, and we came down to the 70s, and where did we come to exactly? Well, I'll tell you, I'll show you exactly where we came to, all right? We came to the level that we had been ready and prepared for in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, which was this right here, okay? The trade setup given in advance a long time ago. I don't exactly know the exact day here, but we came down to that level, filling that CME gap and the 786 around between 76,127 and 77.5, all right? We came down to the level, we got all the confirmations we wanted to see on Market Cipher B right here, so we hopped into the dang trade. Now this, of course, was a long time ago now. This was going back to the, wow, March 11th. That's a long time ago now, okay? So we're starting to get a move up from that very key zone, and as we're getting a move up, there's a few things we need to be aware of. First of all, when we look at our daily time frame, there's two ways to interpret Market Cipher B right now. We could interpret this as a nice bottom here. The reason we could interpret this as a nice low that we made on the 11th of March is because as the price was getting lower to key support, we were seeing the momentum on Market Cipher B get much higher. That's a very bullish divergence there on the daily. And we see bearish divergences, bullish divergences on the bullish divergences on the daily time frame, the 4-hour time frame, the 1-hour time frame, the 24-minute time frame. But now we're seeing something which I consider a little bit concerning. We're getting a big uptick in momentum here that's not really in line with the price action. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we're forming this little kind of channel-y thing, and the momentum is just skyrocketing to the upside. Why is this concerning? This is concerning because if the price cannot really reclaim our level at around, I'd say $100,000 really. If we can't reclaim this level, and this daily tops out before we make now a higher high, well, this is going to be a hidden bearish divergence on the daily. When the price is making lower highs in a downtrend like this, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, then we make another lower high somewhere here, right? If the momentum wave is higher than it was in these previous lower highs, that's called a hidden bearish divergence. And basically, that's a pretty bearish sign. Okay, so we really want to see price get a big push for the bulls to really show what they got. All right, it's time for the bulls to show what they're made of. And of course, tomorrow's a Wednesday, very volatile day of the week, and we're heading up to a very key area on the chart, which is the back test now of the value area low of this range. Okay, this is very important. The reason is because whenever the price is trading within a fair value zone like this, okay, this means the market participants themselves are the ones saying, you know what, we want Bitcoin to be traded within these two prices. We, the market, consider this to be the fair price of Bitcoin, which is why we, the market, will short Bitcoin if it comes above that level because, well, that's the time that we should be looking for a correction to the downside. And this is why we, the market, will long Bitcoin if it comes down to this level because this is where it's considered cheap Bitcoin. Of course, we want to long when it's cheap and short when it's expensive, right? Well, we have had now a breakdown of the range. We've tried twice to get back in and could not. And now we've had another lower low come in, right? So this is our first low. We tried to get back into the range, got rejected, made a lower low. So now, as we come up to this area, this is going to be extremely important, because if we get rejected again, that's going to be another lower high, and it's very likely we come down and make another lower low, coming back down to the low 70s. We have some pretty nice confluence down below here. $73,000 is not only this very important support resistance flip that goes all the way back to March 2024, but it's also the last level that we got a little bit of a resistance from before the big breakout. It's also the macro 382 of the entire bull run. So this is very important, guys, because in a strong uptrend, right, which is what we are in, right? If we zoom out now to these higher time frames, we can see we're in a very powerful uptrend. I mean, super powerful. And this thing can squat 700, deadlift 850, bench press 550. It's very powerful. But when you're in a powerful trend, this 382 is where you want to hold, okay? Because if you're losing the 382, not good, man. Not good. That's really not a good sign. Not only is it the macro 382, but it's the local golden pocket from the low we made on August 5th, 2024 to the current high, all-time high that we made on Monday, the 20th of January, 2025. So if we do get a rejection from $90,000, yeah, we're looking for the low 70s, but this must hold here. This must hold. This must hold. All right, it must hold. Now there are some good, I mean, you know, for example, look at this, guys. All right, let's clear off the chart for a second. Now, people hate when I get bearish. I'm already seeing the thumbs down. People are like, Jason, you fool. Bitcoin will never go down again. Man, shout out to my man, Brett PG. He was in here every day making fun of me for talking about the 70s, and we're up here. Where are you at now, Brett? Come on, baby. Show yourself. Look, I'm just joking, all right? I love you, Brett. I love you, man. But look, here's the thing. We have to be prepared for more downside because we're here to make money on the volatility. We're not here to play the game. I hope and I wish someday that Bitcoin will be $1 million. Look, it probably will be. But that's not why we're here right now, all right? If you're the kind of guy that just buys and hodls forever, well, then totally disregard this video, to be honest with you, because we're talking about the short-term volatility, how we're looking to make money every single day, all right? Regardless of what the price is doing. Now look at this, all right? Look at this. I do want to show you this, all right? This is pretty interesting here. Would you look at this? That's pretty interesting, man. So, I'm not saying that we're going to come down to the 70s, and I'm not saying we're going to lose the 70s. What I am saying is this. If we reject at $90,000, there's a good chance we come down for another lower low. If we come down for another lower low, I just want you to look at the importance of that level in the low 70s and why it's vital and important. All right? Shout out to Radar Apologetics. It's vital and important that we hold that lower 70 level. Okay? This is very important, guys, man. This is so dang important. All right? Man, oh man. Oh man, I mean, even if we just want to like fudge this trend line here like this. Whew. Talk about intersectionality. Man, intersectionality, that would make my old self get real excited when I was graduating from college with my degree in trans, non-carbon, binary emission, gender studies. Man, I loved intersectionality, but look at all the things intersecting right here. Okay? So it's very important that we hold that level. I think I've beat the point to death. Now, we're going to go ahead here and take a look at what's happening. Okay, we're coming up to our area of resistance, $90,000. If we can reclaim 90,000, then I do believe we're getting vacuum sucked up to our next major area of resistance, which can be the Fibonacci 618, right around $97,000. All right, we're basically just playing it with the range. Firstly, we need to reclaim this. If we can't, we could see a big rejection and a lower low. We reclaim $90,000. It's a little bit of a zone, right? You can see the 382 is 89.5. Then we're coming up to the point of control of the range. That's going to be around 96.5 to 97.5. All right? If we can reclaim this, I become extremely bullish, right? Let's say we do this, we hold, we come up, we hold, then I actually do become very bullish. Because now most of the volume will be below us, and that means the probabilities are that we see much higher prices. And we can see how important, based on the volume, this area is right around here, right? It's very important. We reclaim this, guys. I expect that we actually do see higher highs within the next few months. I think it will happen very, very quickly, if we can reclaim $97,000, the high volume node, the Fibonacci golden pocket. It could happen very quick. Because remember, there are a few different scenarios right now that could play out. Because I am one of the people that believe that the bull market is still here. I believe we are still going to see bullish price on Bitcoin. But depending on what happens right now is going to determine whether it happens within the next few weeks, months, or it's going to take a lot longer. Because remember, if we do lose $70,000, we're coming back down into the old range that we traded basically for almost all of 2024. I mean, literally from February all the way until November, we traded this range. And if we're coming back down inside this range, that is a clear change of the trend. All right. And so in that case, I would expect probably we come down to the lows of this range and then come up for our all-time high. And that could take a lot longer than if we simply just break up back into this range, right? Because so far, when we're looking at this price action here, right, we can see that every single time we form a sideways range, we get that little fake out to the downside, and then we break out and form another range until we get a little fake out to the downside, until we break out and form another range, get the fake out to the downside, break out, range, fake out to the downside, break out, range. So there's a real chance this is our fake out to the downside, then pump up, just continue the trend, okay? So if we lose this, that whole pattern is out of commission, baby. It's out of commission. We need a new model, all right? The trend is your friend until the end. And if we're back down in here, we have to acknowledge this is the end. Doesn't mean we can't get one last pump up, but it is not the same trend that has been since, I guess, the end of 2022, the beginning of 2023. All right? So locally right here, we're trading within this parallel channel. We've got a clearly defined high. We've got ourselves a clearly defined low right here as well. And so we are waiting for the breakout of this channel. When we see the breakout of this channel, that we're going to smack right into our macro resistance at the value area low of this range. And honestly, for me, guys, this is really going to determine my bias for the upcoming weeks, months. All right, we reclaim 90K, very bullish. We reject, very bearish. All right, simple as that, simple as that. Now, let's take a look at market Cipher. We're going to do some top-down analysis. The weekly time frame, potentially about to print a green dot. We have not printed the green dot in the weekly time frame since after the fake out that we had in our last range. So August 5th, we had the fake out. We printed a green dot, which basically gave us another dump. Then we printed this nice trigger wave here, which caused us to break out of the range. So keep your eyes on what happens this week on Market Cipher B. You can see the yellow oscillator is making its way toward the zero line. A few words of caution. I don't like the angle of this yellow oscillator here because you can see that we would prefer it to have a vertical kind of angle like it did over here. See how it was very vertical, like straight up as it was coming up? This one here has a curve, right? It has a curve like this, right? What is that telling us? It looks like it wants to roll over. Even the momentum wave itself, when we look at the angle of this momentum wave here, it's a very flat looking momentum wave. You don't like flat momentum waves, you like pointy ones. You want to see a nice point, you want to see a nice angle of the blue there. This is very flat, right? You want to see a nice separation between the dark and the light blues. So yes, there's a chance we get a green dot and a nice little move to the upside, but it's not necessarily looking the best, okay? The daily market cipher. Well, as we said, this does look like a nice bottom. It looks like the kind of bottom where you would expect a higher low to come in with a trigger wave. But the only concerning thing here is the fact that we're printing a hidden bearish divergence on this area because unless we can actually like come above, I'd say, you know, I want us to come above 94, 95K to be really safe. Unless we can come above that, whenever this red dot prints, it's going to be a hidden bearish divergence. Like, the bulls tried real hard. I mean, look at this big momentum wave. They really tried hard, but they couldn't push the price up, right? Let's go down to our 4 hour and see how she's looking here. Now, the 4 hour is looking nice. I do have to say, of all the time frames here, the 4 hour looks the best of these higher time frames, because we had a really nice bullish divergence here. We have a money flow cross. Momentum is getting higher. But once again, look at this, right? We're already starting to print and confirm hidden bearish divergences on our 4 hour time frame, right? Hidden bear div is where the price is making a lower high and the oscillator is making a higher high. You can think of it as the bulls trying really hard and they're pushing the button real hard to make this thing go up, but as hard as they try, it's just not making the price move, right? It's like me when I'm trying to squat, because I don't squat ever. The only time I squat is when I curl in the squat rack, right? If I ever try to squat, you know, the weight comes off the bar, I go down, and as hard as I try, I just can't stand back up no matter what. So I have my spotter rip the weight off my back, then I pick up the barbell and just start repping out curls in the squat rack. That's kind of like what's happening right now, okay? Yeah, so I really want to reclaim that $95,000 level. Let's take a look at order flow as well here. Let's look at we'll go to a high time frame here just to kind of see. We'll go to the 4 hour. I don't ever trade with the 4 hour. I just want to kind of see how open interest and CBD kind of have been going since this low here. Okay. So overall, guys, we are seeing so far, a decrease of open interest here. So this is not a very strong move to the upside yet, right? It's not really a very strong move to the upside yet. We saw some bullish divergences, like some bullish CVD in here. We saw some bullish divergences in here, giving us a little bit of a move to the upside. We even saw some bullish divergences this morning, but it's nothing too crazy. Like, open interest in general is pretty flat. Pretty flat. So, you know, what would be really nice is if we were seeing open interest really increasing, and the CVD decreasing as we were in this range here, right? We're seeing the CVD decrease, which looks nice, but the open interest is pretty flat. It's pretty much the exact same place where it was when we started. So you could make the case that this is bullish looking, but right? It's like there's not really too many shorts actually opening up to be absorbed here. It's nothing too crazy, right? But nonetheless, it is bullish CVD. So tomorrow's our Wednesday. Wednesday, very bullish day in general. And yeah, I think maybe we get that big move mañana, or maybe we start to get it today. Like, something big is a brewing here, because you can't just have this channel going on like this for this long without expecting some kind of big move soon. When this channel breaks, it's going to have some pretty significant follow through, right? All right, we got to give some shout outs to our super chat. Shout out to Lost Liberty. Can you check Telcoin? Sure. All right, shout out to my man Suhaib, who says Bitcoin's weekly uptrend broke after the higher high at 108K, higher low at 89, then higher high at 109, losing 89, broke structure, flipping bearish for the first time this cycle. I could see why you would say that right here, but I don't know. I don't know. The reason why I say I don't know is because we did flip bearish market structure as well here, okay? We closed a candle below the range right here back in July 2024, and then we made another lower high, and if we don't include the wick, we even made another lower low, closing the candle once again below. So yeah, I can see why you'd say that, but I would give it. I understand technically you're correct, but the way I'm looking at this is I'm looking at the pattern of the trend here. The pattern of the trend here is that we don't break down into the previous range, right? We don't break down to the previous range. And if we do, we just wick. All right, so for me, we're still safe as long as we're not closing below the top of the previous range. All right, that's how I'm looking at this. But technically, yes, you're right. We have the bearish candle close here, and I also have to acknowledge the fact that this candle looks worse, a lot worse than any other time we have gotten a fake out to the downside. The candle from the week of March 3rd looks absolutely horrible because it's such a big candle and that closes way below the range. And historically speaking, you know, when we look at this, it's like we had nothing like what we had on March 3rd. We wicked, we're getting the candle bodies at that level, but nothing like what we saw on March 3rd. So you're right, it's bearish, but I'm a little bit cautious, right, to consider it now a trend reversal until we come back and lose 70,000. And that's just the way I'm looking at this here, okay? So, yeah, you're right, but I'm looking at it a little bit differently. But thank you so much for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Shout out to Crypto Scarface. Bull run is ahead of us for sure, but not yet soon. Yeah, the bull run's always ahead, guys. Shout out to Crypto Scarface for the double super chat. Yeah, it's always ahead, right? It's always ahead. No matter what, the bull run is ahead of us. No matter what, the bull run is ahead of us. They say 80% of the time. It works 100% of the time. Christian wants to know something that's a little inappropriate. I remember I asked this question to my dad once. I was in the ball pit at McDonald's, and I asked him this exact question. And he said, just leave it alone. It'll go back to normal. You know what? He was right. So Christian, I'm gonna say the same thing to you that my dad told me when I was like 3 years old in the McDonald's ball pit. Just leave it alone, and it'll go back to normal. Shout out to Alex O. I missed you too, bro. You know, I had no internet, no phone for like a week. Shout out to Preparing for War. Shout out to all the mods, by the way, holding it down with the wrench. Preparing for War says, just a temporary bear market until the American economy begins to reap the benefits of the tariffs and tax deductions. Well, if it's a temporary bear market, I hope you mean a short bear market. Or at least just a consolidation period, okay? Shout out to Alex O for the super chat. Thank you, bro. He says, missed you, homie. God bless. Sending prayers for you and the family. Hope you're all doing well. Good to see you, JC. Good to see you, Alex O. Shout out to Dome Life. He says, free beer tomorrow. Is tomorrow, what is this, St. Patrick's Day or something? Tell the noobs how to determine a change of market structure. Sure. So a change of market structure is literally when the trend changes. Okay, so right here you can see price is making a low, a high, a higher low, a higher 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 high. And so now, technically speaking, we're still making a higher low here, right? So a change of market structure on this very high time frame would have to be really taking out this low here, right? That would be a real major change of market structure. Now you can zoom in on lower time frames and do this on any time frame, right? So for example, the way you do that is what I just did, but do it on your 5-minute time frame. And the way you look for trades based on a change of market structure is, let's say we do come down and take out this low. You can tell yourself, okay, we have changed this uptrend. And so now you're looking, instead of buy the dip mode, you're looking to short the pump mode. Because now that we made a lower low, you're looking now for a lower high and then another lower low, right? So the way you say, oh, market structure's changing is we've changed now. We made a lower low for the first time since November 2022. And so if we're going to get a retracement, now you say to yourself, this is the beginning of a downtrend. Now we're not going to make a higher high. We're going to make a lower high. And typically that lower high is going to come in around some key fib levels. All right. You can do this on any time frame here. You know, a good example, well, I don't have to get into it now, but that's the basics of it, man. All right, that's the basics of it. So even here, like, let's go to like our 12-minute time frame, okay? you could say that this is a little uptrend here. We got our low, our high, our higher low, our higher high, our higher low, our higher high, our higher low, our higher high. So as soon as we start to take out this, you could say, okay, it's time to look for that short, right? It's time to look for that lower high to come in, right? You're like front running the Bart Simpson pattern in a sense, right? Not front running, but projecting, so to speak. All right, where did I go? Away. Shout out to the Otter Gang. Another way to talk about market structure is, like, I got really bullish once we closed this weekly candle, January 16th, the week of January 16th, 2023 is when I got really bullish on Bitcoin. And the reason is because we closed the weekly candle above this lower high here. All right, so when we closed this weekly candle, I said, okay, we've changed market structure, looking for that big move to the upside. All right. So, and that was the first time we had done that. That was the first time we had done that since the bull market top. All right, and it's a little bit different than what's happening now because we have had candle closes below those previous lows, and the bear market did not start. Right, so it's a little bit different now. So I'm looking at the market a little bit differently because we do have a different pattern on the way up than we had on the way down. Wow, we got a lot of super chats pouring on in. We have to look at Telcoin. Can we check Bitcoin dominance? Sure. And shout out to me, Vishwa, for the super chat. Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll take a look at Telcoin for Lost Liberty. Telcoin. Well, based on our weekly time frame here, what really stands out to me here is the fact that we are at support. I mean, we're at support, right? Let's go to the daily. We're at support. Like, no one can deny the fact that we are at key support, getting a bounce. Let's go to our 4 hour here. We had a little bit of some 4 hour bull div. We didn't have anything too crazy on the daily or anything like that, but let's look at the volume here because I think we might be seeing some interesting things. Yeah, okay. Man. So, for me, this is like a no trade zone, honestly. But I would say that if we can come above the green box, which is very, very key resistance, extremely key. Let's pull some fibs here too. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say if we can come above the green box and then get a back test, maybe for me, I mean, would I buy this there? I'd probably not. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. There's no way. It's not worth it to me. But if I was into Telcoin, I definitely would have been interested in buying down here. We've already got from that low about a 43% pump. So the only opportunity I would see really to buy this thing would be a breakout now and a back test. Yeah, because this is the real resistance here, you know. So until we can break out of that, we don't have any major bull div on the daily. There, we do have a very oversold wave, but I wouldn't take this too seriously until we actually get a break, come back down, and then this would be upon a breakout and then consolidation within the box, a place where I would look to hop on in. All right. Can we look at Bitcoin dominance? Yeah. Wow, it's pretty flat here, isn't it? So we had that little alt season going on for a little bit here with the crazy meme coin pumps. Everyone's putting their money into Bitcoin, and then everyone put their money back into Bitcoin here. Let's go to the weekly. Make sure to smash the likes, guys. We got 1,500 people in the house. 600 likes. Let's see if we can at least get the likes up to the watchers here. Man. This was the top of the last bull run here. It's pretty crazy. Well, let's be honest. You know, I don't usually analyze this chart. But when I see stuff like this, to me, it makes me think that, man, we could see this thing break down, come back to this, at least this area here, and really see altcoins pump like crazy. We're starting to see some bear div on the weekly, but money flow is still bullish. Let's go to the daily. We're starting to see some bear div here, a little bit. Like a little bit of bear div here. So yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer that the altcoin season is coming. When I say the altcoin season, I mean Ethereum's going to hit new all-time highs, Solana's going to hit new all-time highs, Chainlink's going to hit new all-time highs, Cardano's going to hit new all-time highs, Ripple is going to send ripples through the water of all-time highs. And when I see it consolidating like this, it makes me think it's just a matter of time, all right? Because if this was any other chart here, we would be looking at this as just massive amounts of liquidity to be taken. Massive amounts of liquidity to be taken, and coming back down to this old range here. And once we're in the old range, who knows? Maybe we come back down to the bottom of the range and then get to move back to the upside. Because this is a pretty clearly defined high here, a pretty clearly defined low here. You know, going all the way back now 2-3 market cycles. So maybe we do something like that. Would be pretty cool. I'm holding on to my ETH for new highs. You know, I hope it happens. I hope it happens. My spot Ethereum. Come on, spot Ethereum. You're messing with our hearts. You're messing with our hearts. What do I think about an ETH short at 2058? Yeah, so it's definitely key resistance, Gennaro Mena. It's definitely key resistance. Would I want to short it? You know. So here's the deal. It's key resistance, guys. It's the back test of the value area high of the bear market. It's the lows of the 2024, the whole year. So yeah, if we're going to come down to 1,500, then this is definitely a place to be looking for a short on ETH. All right. The only problem here is that we're printing a large green dot on the weekly. So it's difficult for me to say, let's get ultra bearish and short. Literally support. I mean, you know, I understand it's now resistance, but we've just had, you know, a 60% correction, and we're printing a very oversold big green dot on the weekly. So even if there's more downside to come, I mean, I just don't like to short big bottoms on the weekly, right? Big bullish divs on the daily. Could we come lower? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's just like Bitcoin. But would I short this? I would not. Could you? Yeah, you could do whatever you want. But I would rather wait for some kind of better setup here with more confirmation than a big old green dot in the weekly. I mean, I would maybe wait until we come up a little bit higher with some nice bear div on the 4 hour. You know, if we get some nice div on the 4 hour, maybe we get another little pump up here. Right? Come up to this key area here, take some liquidity, and then we're starting to see the upside down Sam Bankman-Fried bearish man move pattern on the 4 hour. That would have me more interested in taking a short on ETH than right here. But I can see why. You know, it's the same as Bitcoin. We've got this channel. If the channel breaks down, then we're probably going to make a lower low. It's just a little concerning for me. with the weekly being so bottomed out to look for that. Sure, I'd rather wait for a little bit higher. Just like on Bitcoin, I'm looking for a little bit higher before I start flopping into some shorts here. You know, but there's scalps to take, and you know, this is more higher time frame analysis. Some higher time frame analysis. Analysis. You guys know. Litecoin. Let's check out Litecoin. Shout out to Sudeep. God bless you, Sudeep. Am I long on ETH? I'm not in a leverage long, but I am holding quite a bit of ETH on spot that I have not sold any of since I bought it in 2022. But a lot of ETH in 2022, and I haven't sold any. But it's not really worth it for me to sell right now, you know. So I'm not gonna sell now. I'm up on my ETH purchase right now, only like 75%. That's, you know, at this point in my life, I'd rather just hodl it than sell. I know 75% is a big gain, but I'm already good for this market cycle, honestly, because Bitcoin's my biggest holding. I'm already 60% out of the Bitcoin I bought in 2022, but I'm looking for like 600% gains on my ETH, 600 to 800%. Honestly, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm definitely looking to take out the all-time high here. So let's see. Yeah, we come up to like I wouldn't be surprised if we hit like an $8,000 ETH. Let's take a look at Litecoin. Now, this is not financial advice, all right? Because that might not happen, right? Like I said, it's more worth it for me to hold out for that big move than to sell now. I'm not gonna sell my ETH now. Nah. Eventually, I'm gonna sell the ETH, and eventually, it's gonna go up to that price. Eventually, it will. I'm pretty confident in that, right? All right, so let's check out Litecoin here. Litecoin, as we know, is consolidating in a massive, massive triangle. And, man, we're coming down to a pretty key zone of support right now. The box. I mean, we just front ran my box. You know, I was looking down towards more the point of control in the 786 and the 886. But nonetheless, we're coming down to that zone, the Fibonacci golden pocket, the 786, towards that high volume of the range. You know, if Litecoin ever has its day and actually breaks this triangle, man, we can see some pretty significant follow through. Litecoin is one of those coins, but obviously this is pipe dream stuff. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. Like, it hasn't happened the previous market cycles, right? I think it could happen, man. I'll be honest with you. I think it could happen. So here's the deal. Litecoin finding resistance at the value area high, getting a move to the downside, finding support at the golden pocket. For me, this is a really nice buy zone. If we get another move down on Litecoin, for me, that's a really nice buy zone. Buying Litecoin, $80 and below. I mean, you can't go wrong, really. I mean, in my opinion, you can't go wrong, right? I mean, we're talking like the price of Litecoin, what it was at the bottom, the Bitcoin bottom in November 2022. So, yeah, I like Litecoin. Let's check out the weekly here. You know, the weekly doesn't look as bad as it looks on other coins here. We don't have bear divs here. We just have convergence. We don't have any divergence. We have convergence. Let's go to the daily. Man, the daily is looking so nice for a dip down. You know, if this is a bear flag here, let's just assume this is a bear flag, right? Another dip to the downside on this bear flag is going to put us right into our box. Right into our box, and we will have the juiciest bullish divergence here on Litecoin, money flow momentum. Looks like a really nice buy zone down there, to be honest. To be honest. Man, Bitcoin is like flopping and groping like crazy. We are just flopping and groping. What is Bitcoin even doing right now? What is she even doing? What is she even doing right now? Alright, we'll take a look at Sol. Shout out to Bullish on Parade. He says, yo, Jay, I was getting worried about you. God bless you. Okay, hope all is well. Still waiting on 70K. Yeah, let's see what happens, man. God bless you too, bro. Can I look at Doge? Yeah, I could probably look at Doge. But we got to give a major shout out to Camille Wahlberg for the super chat. Says, how about Radium? Radium. Yo, check out Radium. Wow. Well, what can I say about Radium? Besides, we're back down in support here. Let's just see if there's any other. We only got Zoomex and... I guess it's on BLOFIN. Is this right? Is it Ray or Radium? Same thing. Yeah, so we're coming back down towards support. Let's go to our daily. We do have a nice bull div on the daily here as we come down towards support. Let's look at the volume. This is the BLOFIN volume. Man, so much volume at that low. Whew. Yeah, we could get a move back up on here, considering that the volume is right where we're at. Check out the 4 hour looks pretty nice at that low. You know, is it the highest probability for a pump right now? I'd say nah, but it's pretty, in my opinion, like relatively low risk. All right, not financial advice. But in general, like, let's say we even just come back up to retest the lows of the old range. It's a 4 to 1. And let's say we come up to test the highs of this old range, not including that little, like, fake out here. You know, we're looking at a 7 to 1. Let's say we actually come to the highs, we're looking at a 10 to 1. So, you know, it's not the highest probability. Let me just make that clear. But at least we have a pretty clearly defined invalidation. We're bouncing from this value area low to the dollar. We're above the high volume node. It's a bit of a knife catch. Like I said, not the highest probability, but it's low risk in the sense that if we're risking 1, we're potentially looking to make 7 to 10. Right? So, yeah, it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. Shout out to Daily Charts. Alright, guys, I'll be right back. Give me 1 second here. We'll be right back. Bitcoin's taking a little bit of a dump here. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, baby. We are back. All right, let's see what we're gonna take a look at here. All right, what do I think about the dump from 94K? Hugh Janus said it would dump from there, and he always makes accurate predictions. From 94K. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a daily order block right there. It's the value area low of this little range. That's definitely a zone to be aware of. So, hang on, let's remove that. So, yeah, 94, 95K. It is a key resistance. So, look, it's possible. One of the most difficult things right now about this price action is the fact that we have many zones of resistance along the way up here, right? I'd say the most important ones are going to be 89 to 90 and then 96 to 97. But literally, if you looked at the chart that I shared in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, we've got lots of different levels with lots of different potential setups depending on how the chart looks at the time. All right. And by the way, got to give a major shout out to the Casper Crew, jasoncaspertrading.com. If you want to join the best trading community in the world, where myself and multiple instructors giving you their setups, giving you their levels, like this trade setup that we gave in advance, walked you through exactly how I'd be pulling the trigger and all that kind of stuff here. Check it out, jasoncaspertrading.com. Also, make sure to check out MEXC. Best deal on fees. 0% limit order, 0.02% taker order. But you do need to KYC. If you don't want to KYC, WEEX is the way to go. Links in the pinned comment and description of the video. There's a lot of bear flags on altcoins, which makes me think we're going to go lower at some point. Yeah, like there's a lot of these bear flags, and a lot of these altcoins do look like they're setting themselves up for bull divs a little bit lower. All right, let's check out Dogecoin. Let's check out Dogecoin. All right, is MEXC safe? I've never had a problem with MEXC, and I've had a really good experience with their support as well. So I've had a really good experience with MEXC support. If there's ever a glitch, if a scam wick, or stop losses don't get hit, like they will refund you. So that's my experience with MEXC. I've heard the FUD, I've seen it on Twitter. I've never experienced it. Other YouTubers I know, their communities have not experienced it. So, look, any exchange you trade on, you got to proceed with caution. If it's a centralized exchange and you're actually putting your money onto another platform, it's at risk. All right, FTX was considered on the up and up. Look what happened to that. Bybit, I love Bybit, but they got hacked. You know, it is what it is. Anytime you're moving your crypto out of your own control and your own self-custody, it's at risk. All right, so that's just the way it is. But I like MEXC. I've never had an issue with it. I'm goated for holding trades for so long. Well, look, man, it's just my style of trading. I'm, you know, this is swing trade mode for me. All right, this is swing trade mode for me. I haven't been scalping. I haven't been day trading. That's not true. I've taken a few scalps. I've taken a few small scalps, but in general, I'm waiting for those big moves. So here's my mentality, right? I've already made 10 grand on the trade. So let's say we come up to 90K and reject. And well, now I can add to the trade, and this will be my new entry. I'll lock in another, let's say, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and I just keep holding the trade down. The same is true with my long trade, right? I was prepared for the level. I took the short, I took the long, made a couple thousand. If we pump, great. I'll make hopefully, you know, 50, 60K on the trade. If we dump, you know, my short's open, right? So it's the way I like to trade. Shout out to Thomas for the super chat. I know a guy with 20K in Doge, yet he's 10x. Is he playing with fire? I keep telling him to take the win and buy 0.25 Bitcoin. Well, you're always playing with fire if you're holding leverage as if it's spot, all right? You know, the warnings against leverage, in my opinion, are people should say, because leverage in and of itself is not risky. But what is risky is treating leverage as if it's spot. Alright? That is risky. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. And so, is it worth it for him to have a 2.25 Bitcoin? I can't even answer that question because it depends on his goals. It depends on his plans. You know, that's the thing. Investing and trading is very individual. What's his plan and what's his goal? You know, it might be different than yours. So, for me, I wouldn't proceed like that. You know, Thomas? Another super chat. 20K in Doge or a quarter of a Bitcoin? You know, look, it depends on the person. For me, I'd rather have a quarter of a Bitcoin, man. I'll be honest with you. That's me. But I feel like there's definitely more money-making potential in $20,000 of Doge right now than in a quarter of a Bitcoin right now. Like for the rest of this market cycle. If you're holding a quarter of a Bitcoin right now, you know, maybe we go up like another 30 to 50%. But if you're holding Doge, you know, let's say Doge hits $1, right? That's a lot more, right? So that 20K, you know, we're talking hundreds of percent. So if he sold his Doge, and man, but that's the thing, it's 10x leverage, right? So yeah, that's crazy. That means if we come down, I guess 10%, he's out, right? Wait, now, is that true, really? Yeah. We come down 10%, he's liquidated. That is playing with fire, bro. That is playing with fire. I gotta be honest, man. That is playing with fire. That is playing with fire, man. Alright? That is absolutely playing with fire. That is pretty dumb, honestly. His liquidation isn't even below the low. That's pretty stupid, I have to be honest. That's retarded, okay? Yeah, that's retarded. That's retarded, man. That's $20,000 gone. Yeah. Look, I think it's better to hold a quarter of a Bitcoin. Cause honestly, like, if your friend is holding a 10x leverage trade here, well, where's his entry, I guess? Right? Man, where did he get in at? Like, did he get in at the exact bottom? Because if he got in at the exact bottom, then we can come down to like 13 cents and he's still alright. Man. His liquidation is like right here. If he got in at the exact bottom, his liquidation is the white line right here. So he has a little bit of breathing room. If he didn't get in at the exact bottom, that's playing with fire, man. That's 20 grand he's messing around with. That's a lot of money. Jasmy, shout out to E Key. We'll take a look at Jasmy. One of the coins that I hold. So Jasmy's in a pretty key box of support right now. As you can see. Let's go ahead and pull our fibs. The zone between the 786 and the 886, in my opinion, is a pretty key zone. Let's go down to our daily. Let's put on market Cipher here. So it doesn't look very good on the daily, to be honest with you. This is a good example of a change of market structure, right? We were making a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now we've made a lower low. Taking out the last two higher lows, which means we could see another lower low come in. and we're not seeing money flow tick up on the daily yet. So let's take a look at this lower range down here. Let's go back to our weekly. Yeah, I mean, right now, the next major support, if we're not going to bounce from our 886 fib, so next major support is going to be like 92.50. But if not, this is very key support right here. We're talking like 48.01 to 69.75. That'd be really, really, really nice if we do get a move there for a buy on Jasmy. If Jasmy's going to remain bullish, and like I say, I think it is. We're already starting to form some hidden bullish divs here on the weekly. So yeah, if I was bullish on Jasmy and I was looking to build a position, I would definitely get some here because we just had a dump and we broke the lows. But I would definitely be looking to get in at 90.90 and then in this box as well. That's where I would split up my capital to get into Jasmy. Assuming it's going to be bullish, you know. And again, all these altcoins, we have to assume that, you know, this downtrend, this consolidation is going to end and things are going to rip. And I personally am in the camp that things are going to rip. All right? Rip. Things are going to rip. Rip like a piece of paper. Rip like a piece of paper. Man. You guys remember that stupid trick people used to do? Where they would pretend to rip a piece of paper? They would do like... I remember the first time I saw someone do that, they actually tricked my brain. I saw the paper rip like an optical illusion. I saw that paper rip. Rule number 1 is never short Dogecoin. It's the people's coin. That is true. Well, not always. He invested 2,000 to 3,000 and now it's worth 20K, says Thomas. Thank you for the super chat. Man, he invested 2,000 to 3,000 and now it's worth 20,000. Man, I would at least take some of that out, man. I would at least take some of that out and put it into Bitcoin, or at least take out 10 grand. I mean, if he takes out 10 grand right now, if he takes out 10 grand, he just made 10 grand. And now he still has money in the position. Why not just de-risk a little bit? You know, at least don't get greedy. Like if he takes out half, he can be greedy and not be greedy at the same time. If he takes out half the trade right now, he can be greedy and not be greedy at the same time. And no matter what happens, he's a winner. Right now, more people make money and then give it all back in these markets. Honestly, it's just the way of the world, man. Just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Yeah, guaranteed win is definitely the best option. Trump is speaking and signing executive orders. Let's check it out. Trump is speaking and signing executive orders.
Government, which is obviously an endeavor that we've been pursuing in numerous aspects of government under your leadership.
It's basically modernization of equipment and methods, and it's something that really I think he's going to be a great Secretary of the Treasury wanted, Scott, and so we're doing this, and we have other modernization programs going on. We could let somebody else, whoever's next, whoever that may be, do it, but it's something that should have been done 25, 30 years ago. Okay.
Along similar lines, sir, this is an executive order. We're calling it Protecting America's Bank Account. The basic idea here is that instead of having lots of different departments and agencies and offices issuing payment, often without justification, often without any provided rationale, we're going to be centraling payment processes where possible in the Department of the Treasury and ensuring that measures are taken in Treasury against waste, fraud, and abuse to ensure that money that's leaving the public Treasury is as protected as it possibly can be.
All right. Good.
All right, good.
Many of these things should have taken place decades ago or longer.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order for your attention on the very important subject of election integrity. We believe that this executive order is the farthest reaching executive action taken. We believe that this executive order is
Yeah, you can be blind and still know he's signing because he signs it in Braille.
taken in the history of the Republic to secure our elections. Among numerous other aspects of this executive order, this is going to cut down on illegal immigrants on the voter rolls, ensure that the Department of Homeland Security and the data that they have available is being fully weaponized to ensure that illegal immigrants aren't voting. This will include a citizenship question on the federal voting form for the first time. This executive order instructs the EAC to cut federal funding to states that don't take reasonable steps to secure their election. This calls on the Department of Justice to vigorously prosecute election crimes, particularly in states that we don't believe are in compliance with federal law around election integrity. I could go on and on for a while, sir, but compliance with National Election Day rules, cracking down and investigating and prosecuting foreign interference in our elections, revoking President Biden's Executive Order 14019, which essentially weaponized government to corrupt and pollute our election process. There's a lot in here, but we believe that these are very important steps that we need to be taking as an administration at your direction to ensure that our elections are as secure as they possibly can be.
Okay. You all understand that? Yes. Election fraud. You've heard the term. Will end it, hopefully. At least this will go a long way toward ending it. There are other steps that we will be taking in the coming weeks, and we think we'll be able to end up getting fair elections. Perhaps some people think I shouldn't be complaining because we won in a landslide, but we got to straighten out our election. This country is so sick because of the election, the fake elections and the bad elections, and we're going to straighten it out one way or the other. And it's an honor to sign this one. To sign all of them, but to sign this one is a great honor.
Yeah, so I don't really know what to say about TAI. We're in kind of like almost, you could say, price discovery mode to the downside. Money flow coming out. Maybe looking like for a liquidity grab down here, like this area. So here's the deal. We're definitely, there's definitely lots of liquidity to the upside. We could start to get a big pump. Right now, the only thing I could really see here is if we start to change the structure, come above this level, I would look for a back test of 59.41, right? We finally take the highs, we close a few daily candles, we come for a higher low into like the Fibonacci golden pocket 786. This would be like an actual setup for me on a sign of strength. Right now, there's no like real reason to think that the bottom is in, because the bottom hasn't been in this whole way down, you know.
To serve under the greatest president of our country. Very proud to serve.
Thank you, Chair.
James Blair, honored to work here in the White House as Deputy Chief of Staff. And Mr. President, I think that all of these successful people would want to go serve the United States under your leadership as a testament to your vision and leadership.
This is an old fake video. Okay.
I'm David Perdue. I'm going to the People's Republic of...
It's fake and old. It's fake old video. Thanks. So Trump's not really doing anything, guys. It's fake and old. Isn't everything fake and old these days, man? Isn't everything fake and old these days? Seriously. Seriously. Pump or dump Jason Casper? I don't know. I do not know. I've given all my analysis on Bitcoin, and I can only tell you where I'm looking for my next trade. Fake and GHEY, says Crypto Surfer. Yeah, it seems like everything is fake and GHEY these days, honestly. It really does seem that way. It does. Let's get on some music again here, because... Whoop, too loud. Ah! There we go. Let's check out our Bitcoin once again here. Starting to get a little bit of a move up. We got a little bit of a green dot on the 6 minute. Yep, yeah, fake stream, paper trade account. Jason is a lizard person. Is MEXC safe, Puffy Gaming? I think we already answered that. Even the stream is fake and pre-recorded. Shout out to Joe Potter. Joe Potter, God bless you, man. I mean, I've never had an issue with MEXC, alright? There'll come a day when people don't trust the truth anymore. Well, you know, it's very hard to trust anything preparing for war. It's really hard to trust anything these days because you just don't know what's true. You don't know who to trust. You don't know what's true. That's how I feel, at least. So, it makes it difficult, for me at least, to take anything seriously, honestly. It makes it very difficult for me to take anything seriously. And I'm talking about like political things and things in the news and anything I hear about on the internet or that's something that's going on in the world. People tell me, oh, this happened, that happened. I'm like, okay, maybe it happened. I don't know. Maybe partially it happened. Who knows? You know? It's really tough with all the media and the ability to fake things and twist things and pervert things, and also perception is reality. So for some person, they might say, yeah, I know this is true, but it's just because they're looking at it through a certain lens, or maybe they have a certain worldview. It's very strange times we live in. Very strange. Shout out to Gato Meowsko, El Paso, Texas. Gato in the casa. What's going on, bro? Yes, Christ is the truth. Everything else is smoke and mirrors. That's where I'm at in my life right now, right? If it's not Jesus, if it's not Yeshua, then I can't trust it. You know, I'm very skeptical. That's my current stance on everything. Hash ribbon sprinting a bicycle on what time frame? What time frame? Shout out to Dave Digital in the chat. He says, look at little Jason, it's been so long. He's so big now, they grow up so fast. Yeah, man. I've been away for a little bit, you know. I was without internet. I was literally without internet and without a phone for a week. I had to go somewhere that didn't have an internet connection. And while I was there, I dropped my iPhone face down on the floor. So I had no iPhone. So I had no way to contact anybody, no internet, no iPhone. I had to get another phone. I have two phones, but the phone I had didn't have any of my trading stuff, none of my Twitter stuff, none of my Discord stuff, none of my YouTube stuff, and I couldn't log into those things either. Even when I had internet, I couldn't even log in. So now I'm back at the homestead. I've got my device to log into all my stuff, you know. So it was a pretty crazy time, man. It was a pretty crazy time, I'll be honest with you. I got two phones. Yeah, I got 2 phones, one for the business and one for the corn. Did I panic? Not really. I mean, I was pissed, but then I'm like, well, it is what it is. You know, you gotta roll with the punches. You gotta roll with the punches. And honestly, when I got back to the chart and saw everything, I was like, well, didn't miss much. Shout out to Bitcoin for just doing nothing. When Trump keeps tanking the economy, will people still blame Biden? People will always blame whoever the front man is, all in. And they give you the front man so you have somebody to blame, right? He's the fall guy. Everyone's a fall guy. I mean, Biden was a massive fall guy because the poor man didn't even know where he was. Couldn't even formulate a sentence or hold his continence in his pants, all right? So he was a fall guy, somebody for people to blame and put up their FJB signs and bumper stickers and get all angry at Biden, even though Biden's not the one they should be angry at. So all these presidents are just there for us to blame and get upset about, all right? The funny thing is the president doesn't really have any real power over the economy at all. All right, you want to talk about inflation? I mean, people are so worried about short-term inflation here. I mean, the real issue is that we have a fake currency that's backed by nothing that's been devalued 98% or more in the last 110 years, all right? That's the real problem. It doesn't matter who the president is. That's always going to be the problem. And the only thing any president can do is just kick the can down the road longer with short-term policies to make his side happy for a little bit until the next guy gets in. You know, under Trump's administration last time, the money supply doubled. Under Trump, the money supply doubled under Trump. Donald Trump's administration doubled the money supply. Then Biden gets in, pooping his pants, eating ice cream, and gets rid of the debt ceiling. Both sides are exacerbating the issue. So, you know, those people are here for us to get all pissed and blame the other side and put up our FJB signs and gather around Trump and just be so happy that him and Elon Musk are building the AI governance system that's going to enslave everybody once the next lefty gets in there, all right? So, whatever, man. Keep your head down, trade your dang Bitcoin, plant your dang corn and potatoes, grow your chickens and goats and all that. And, look, empires rise and fall. Fear the Lord, walk in his ways, keep your head down, work hard, and you'll be all right, okay? You'll be all right. Yeah, Brandon, I understand. What I told you is that they can affect short term with policy, but the big picture does not change, all right? So I don't care if inflation is slowed down a little bit or comparatively on paper goes down or whatever, here or there. There's obviously going to be recessions just based on financial policy, right? Interest rates and all this. But look at the big picture, man. Look at the big picture. It's not normal. It's not natural. People think inflation is just the way it is. When my grandpa was a kid, man, I used to walk into the candy store, buy me a Coke, a coffee, 2 buttered rolls, and a pack of cigarettes for 5 cents back in my day, right? It's not normal for it to get more expensive over time. That's called devaluation of currency. The issue runs much deeper than short-term policies or oil futures or any of that crap, all right? Those are little side issues to make people satisfied in the short term to vote for the next guy. Well, meanwhile, they're stealing all your money by giving you this fake fiat currency that's not worth anything. Stealing generational wealth from families who've worked hard, right? It's messed up. It's messed up. Oh, shout out to R Pink, just had a new calf. That's what's up. That's what's up. Congratulations. 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 Shout out to R Pink. Well, on that note, guys, I've got to head out because I got to go. But God bless you all in Jesus' name. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but through him. He is the light of the world. If you follow him, you won't have to walk in darkness anymore because you'll have the light that leads to life. I hope the Lord blesses you all. I pray the Lord blesses you all. And I'll be live again tomorrow, Lord willing. God bless you all. Peace.